PK, you put the question up on the Facebook page. Excellent question. How do you think Shedeur Sanders will do in the NFL? Nobody knows. Not the first clue. How far is he going to fall? How high is he going to go?
Hence the question. If we knew,
right?
It wouldn't be a question. If I knew 2 and 2 plus equals 4, I'm not going to ask you what the 2 and 2 equal. And the parables I use sometimes just amaze myself.
Oh, they amaze all of us. Don't kid yourself.
Well, I know, but I'm the standard, not you.
Melody wants to know, does his dad come with him?
I hope not.
No.
No, I think he's determined, for all of Dion's soap opera, celebrity and all, I really believe he's determined to have a winner at Colorado. I think he's serious about this. I don't think that he is just some of these coaches, these big-time celebrities are interested in really getting their hands dirty. I think he is, and by the people he's hired and so forth. So he'll voice his opinions for sure, but I think that the separation now is going to be real because Dion's been there.
And he knows nobody in the NFL locker room wants to hear from a player's dad.
Although he is Dion.
So there's that.
Is he a player's dad or is he Dion first? I think he's Dion first, but I get your point. I thought, man, this kid is going to be really good. I don't want to call it nonsense, but all the hoopla around it, I try to divorce myself from that because I'm not into that. I'm a sports fan, right? I want to see good quarterback play. I want to see whatever it is. You name it, I want to see it as long as it's good. And I always thought that the kid, yeah, he had some hype. I mean, standing next to him and talking to him in Vegas last year, the big gold legend chain necklace thing that he has, it's not my style. But, that's old fuddy-duddy. And maybe it's his style. But I try to forget about that and just look at what he did out on the field. And I thought he was really good. But then I'm reading stuff that people who do this, they're concerned about that. And I just saw something on the X last night. Some assistant, unnamed, of course, at the NFL level, was just basically saying the kid's pompous and entitled and all that stuff.
I read some of that too, and I thought the best one was the and I don't know who it was, maybe it was the writer or maybe it was a quote. It was basically, you got to be careful. People say negative stuff now, trying to get people to drop in the draft and fall to them. So yes, we hear a lot of this stuff, but could it be, motivated by their own wants and desires? I want this kid to drop 5 spots and fall to me. So yeah, you find somebody friendly in the media, you feed them some line, and you hope it goes viral.
I think the kid's going to be a player. Now, I am not, by any stretch, a talent evaluator, but I've gotten a few things right. I thought Cam Rising was the guy, not the other dude. I don't even remember his name anymore. I thought Rising was the dude. And I said that when I interviewed him before he even get on the field. I thought Gobert had a motor and an irritation that could make himself into a player, and he did.
I think the biggest thing Sanders has going for him, and it's the thing I always talk about with quarterbacks, it's not the athletic ability and the ability to run around and make crazy plays, because the athletes in the NFL are so awesome. That whole thought you're going to have some running quarterback running through a defense, you are completely underestimating the athletic ability of NFL linebackers and safeties to run fast, get there, and hit you and blow you up when they get there. So to me, most quarterbacks, it's about getting back, knowing where everybody is, getting the ball out on time, and being accurate. Now, he threw, because their offensive line was so bad, he didn't have a chance to do a lot of that. And because their O-line was so bad, they threw a lot of high-percentage quick passes to the perimeter, which is going to raise your percentage. But nonetheless, the fact that he completed 74% of his passes is eye-catching.
Offensive line was much better last year than it was.
It was better last year. And it went at 74%. But they still threw a lot of quick, short perimeter stuff. Which, when you got Travis Hunter out there, I get it. Just get the ball to him as fast as you can. You're not trying to necessarily show off the quarterback. You're trying to complete the pass, get the first down, and win the game.
The thing that really impressed me when I was at the Colorado game last year in Boulder. It was towards the end. Game was wrapped up. He was still in, and I'm on the field, and I'm pretty close to him, and they hand off to a walk-on white running back, and he scores. And Shedeur acted like he scored, and I was impressed with that.
Be a good teammate. It's
Yes.
easy for the quarterback to be apart, and it's easy for the star
Especially
to be
when your
apart
last name
from
is Sanders.
Yeah, and it's easy to be apart from whatever third string guy just scored.
And to see Shedeur's happiness over his teammate because he knows his teammate is in the weight room and doing, and he got no reward on Saturdays, but they were blowing out the Utes, and he got a reward. I don't even remember the kid's name, but he's a local guy. He's from the area, and he scored a touchdown, and Shedeur was right there.
Going nuts.
Yeah, and I made a mental note of that to feel like, okay, he is more than about himself. And I think that's important. So I'm a fan of this kid, and we'll find out in the years to come how it is. But I think he can be an NFL quarterback.
So go to a good organization. In that case, maybe it's best if you slip a little bit in the draft.
You don't know.
You don't. You don't, because you could be 1 year away from the bad GM and the bad coach
Right.
getting run, and the
knows?
next people could come in and be great, and it could click. So it's certainly there.
But all this stuff about the bad organizations, BYU fans like to point to that, to Zach Wilson and Jimmer.
But ultimately, it doesn't matter.
Well,
right?
you're not in that organization forever. Jimmer got multiple chances. So was it every organization that he was with?
And Zach's on his third chance.
Right. So it sucks in the short term, and there's no doubt that the Jets were horrible. But at the same time, he's now on his third one, and let's see what – I'm not ready to write him off by any stretch. Jimmer's career's done, obviously, and Sacramento was a mess. But how about all the other ones? Eventually, all those fingers that you're pointing come back to yourself.
I just don't believe the talk that Sanders is going to fall to the Steelers. I mean, maybe if the
Ooh, you
Steelers
don't?
move up. No, that seems a long way. I think he's gone before they draft.
And when do they draft?
Let me get there. 21.
I thought it was 21.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Man, when's the last time we had a draft where one quarterback went in the top 20 picks? Now, the Steelers, can they move up? You know, if they move up to
How do you know
10 or
Jackson Dart
15.
may not go?
They're going to have to move up.
You just decided that Jackson
Sanders
Dart.
is going to go in front of Dart. I haven't seen mock drafts, and maybe you're right, but I haven't seen a mock draft where Dart went in front of Sanders. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen.
I think Dart goes to the end of the first round, whether that's a team
I think
trade
he's
in.
a player too.
Yeah.
I think he's a baller. I think he's a gamer.
Plenty of good
And he'll
quarterbacks have
make
gone
big
late
plays.
first.
And he may not be up there in whatever stat, whatever combine number, whatever, man.
Whatever, yeah. No, who cares how he did it at the decathlon?
Yeah.
It's just
I think the kid's a
combine
gamer.
is- Plenty of good quarterbacks, playoff quarterbacks have gone late first or early second.
Oh, yeah.
So-
they've gone in the seventh. They've gone in the fourth. They've gone in the third. Joe Montana went in the third. Whatever round.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Stay with us. Tim Lacombe on the NBA playoffs at the bottom of the hour. That's on the way.